Hey everyone, this is the Cornfed Coverage, and I am Nathan, and
No,
this is.
no, I'm Michael.
And this is Chase. Today we're going to get into reviewing the past conference champ weekend, get into the big winners like Indiana. We'll move into some Nebraska football news, and then get into our NFL review and preview. I think we're going to start here with our conference championship review. Whichever one of you want to get started with your picks and how you thought the weekend went.
Well, I can get my loss out of the way here. So I made a pick in the Big Ten title game between Indiana and Ohio State. I was a truther for Ryan Day, and I thought that they were going to be able to pull it out and that they were just the better team on paper. But Indiana showed a lot of heart. Had a very good defensive showing. Shignetti, all the flowers to him. He's 13-0. He's done it. He's a national title favorite also. Um, I feel for that kicker on Ohio State, man. That's rough.
Yeah.
I saw people were, after the loss, they started looking at his pregame warm-up routine, and they were giving him crap for kicking from the sideline. So that always hurts. But, Michael, what game did you pick?
I was opposite of you, so I was right on Indiana and I was right on Georgia, so I was pretty happy with that. Georgia just straight up dominated Bama in the SEC championship game, and it was just abysmal for Bama. I thought it was going to be a closer game, obviously, but Georgia wound up just running away with it. Gunnar Stockton looked phenomenal. Their defense looked, you know, amazing. They looked ready for the college football playoff and literally anybody that would challenge them. Same situation with Indiana. I mean, granted, I think Ohio State's a little bit better competition wise than Bama. I don't know. I think it's just because Ohio State was just on a roll and they, I don't know. Just overall competition wise, I would say Ohio State's better than Bama, and their record shows it just for this season. So Ohio State dropping to 4, right? Did they
No,
drop to
they're
four?
number two.
Number two,
Yeah, they just dropped one
one
spot
spot.
because
At
they were
least in
ranked
the
ahead of
college football
it.
playoff rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be an interesting college football playoff. That's for damn sure. Tulane gets to play Ole Miss again.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. But and then just one other thing I wanted to address was BYU got killed. Like I didn't pick them to even cover, but they got killed again
Called it.
by Texas Tech. And yeah, I mean, we called it last week, and we thought all three of us thought Texas Tech was just gonna wind up winning again. We didn't know by how much, but um, I didn't foresee it being as much as they did win by. But
No.
BYU's quarterback got hurt in that second quarter, and once Texas Tech knew BYU could only really throw the ball, they knew what to plan for. So that kind of hurt BYU's chances halfway through the game as well. But Nathan, that Ohio State kicker, that guy's probably going through some things this past weekend, and probably some hate is getting sent his way. But
Probably.
being a college kicker and with that much on the line, it can be stressful. There's so many things that could be running through that kid's head when he's trying to make that kick too. So
How
He has
far
one
was the
job.
kick again?
It was like 27 yards or something like that. It was under 30.
I
under
knew it was
30.
short. I didn't know if it was like 35, but dang, like 20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then at least they're still in the college football playoff, and it's not like
They have
they're
one loss.
yeah, it's not
They,
like
they were.
they're
This doesn't diminish them.
well, and it's
No.
not like it took them out of the college football playoff either.
The
So
committee's
hopefully they
been
keep
pretty
Lost the
strong
game
on
last,
they don't punish
and
you too much for losing conference championship games. Like Bama didn't even move. They stayed
no.
yeah,
right at number 9.
and they kind of just outwalked Georgia.
But yeah, I wound
Needed
up
3
going
rushing
two
yards.
and two. I wound up going 2-0 on the weekend with my picks. So thankfully, that was good. But what about you, Chase? How'd you wind up with your picks this weekend?
Yeah, I ended up 1-1 in my picks, but to go into the earlier games you were talking about, too. I didn't have a pick in one of those, but I agree. Once BYU's quarterback was hurt, it was kind of game over then. They couldn't do anything on offense, and then we're just turning the ball over constantly, even when their defense did get stops. So Texas Tech looks good, and they're deserving of a bye in a top 4 spot. And then, yeah, Georgia just defense killed Bama. They couldn't run the ball at all. They had -3 total rushing yards, and you're not going to beat Georgia doing that. They looked pretty bad, and now they got to play Oklahoma, who has definitely a top 10 defense. Their defense has carried them all the way to these playoffs. Hasn't been their offense ever since Mateer got his hand hurt. So be interesting for Bama. Yep, and then my picks 1-1. I had Indiana +4. They won outright. It was a good game. I love Fernando Mendoza. I'm probably saying his name a little wrong, but I just loved what he was saying on McAfee after he took that first big hit. Just how much he loved taking that hit. He said he couldn't even breathe after taking it, but he was like, "Yeah, I love the big moments."
Did you see his post game, like his little speech afterwards?
Yeah, when you saw,
he
almost got a little
like
Signetti and just
kid.
awkward a little bit.
He just seems like a high school kid, just super amped up to play some football and super grateful for that too. And then,
He's
like
a baller.
you said, when Signetti gave his speech, it was a complete like 180 from the energy.
Yeah.
He was like, "We're ready for the college football playoff." So I thought that was kind of like a drastic difference from quarterback to head coach.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Indiana does. Like, they're undefeated and they look really impressive. They have the best win this year probably against Ohio State. So I'm interested to see how they do because Indiana has not really had success, at least during my lifetime, football. So
Is there a
you
chance?
know,
Is
what
there
do
a
you say?
chance Indiana and Ohio State wind up playing each other again in the CFP?
Wouldn't surprise me. I kind of Indiana, Ohio State. I throw Georgia in there. I think those three probably a little bit better than everyone else, but I could see Texas Tech or Oregon maybe making some noise too.
Yeah.
I don't know who
It's
I'm
gonna
going
be-
with yet, but it'll probably be Indiana, Ohio State, or Georgia, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I feel like that'd be the safe. I feel like that'd be safe, but we can discuss that next week. So,
Yeah.
for those listening, next week we're going to be making our college football playoff picks, so make sure you tune into that as well.
Yep, once we all get a little more time to kind of look into the matchups, and yeah, we'll make our picks. But just to talk about my other pick shortly, I had Virginia money line. They were down to Duke the whole game, but they did come back, and at the very end of the game, they send it to overtime, but
It's a heartbreaker.
heartbreaker to Duke then. And I don't know how the ACC does their tiebreakers, but Duke getting to that ACC title game over Miami, it's kind of BS. I feel like it should have been Miami, Virginia, and then we wouldn't have had James Madison in the playoffs because the Miami, Virginia winner would be a conference champion, so they would be the 5th conference champion, and then we'd get Notre Dame in instead of James Madison, who Notre Dame would not be a 20-point underdog to Oregon and some of these other teams if they were in.
It's almost like Miami kind of benefited from not playing in the ACC game, almost.
Yeah,
Because
I
they
have a
didn't even have to play a
feeling
game.
if it was Miami, Virginia, they probably would have just slotted in the winner.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah, and then JMU wouldn't be in it.
unless they still would keep, if Miami played Virginia competitively and over Notre Dame, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a whole nother what if scenario.
Yeah.
But hey, that is Duke's first ACC championship title since 1986, so that was pretty cool to see.
Some of these old college basketballs, Duke and Indiana, known for college basketball in this NIL era, they can put together some good football teams.
I thought it was crazy Duke got that win to go 8-5 on the season. Like they were 7-5 in the conference championship game.
Yeah, they had 3 out-of-conference losses. I know they lost to Tulane. I think they lost to Illinois, and I forget who their other out-of-conference loss was, but
Northwestern, I think.
yep,
Was
that
it
makes
Northwestern?
sense.
So they lost to a college football playoff team, and then Northwestern and Illinois, 2 middle-of-the-pack Big Ten teams.
Yep, and then they had 2 ACC losses. I'm not sure exactly which teams, but
It's so
Virginia
weird.
was one. They lost to Virginia in the regular season.
It's so
But, well, with that, let's go ahead and get into the hires that the Huskers made within the last couple of days. So why don't we go ahead and start with Rob Arick, who's the new defensive coordinator from San Diego State. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a whole lot about him. I think he runs a 4-2-5 scheme, um, but you know we we could see that still in our old DC schemes as well. I think
Yeah,
Butler,
but
he ran variations of that as well. So we'll see kind of what happens. I know he'll be on staff for the bowl game this week or this month. Um, so I think that, 15 extra practices with the team is going to help him get accustomed to the culture. And then the bowl game is going to be able to see who can execute and who we might need to go out and get in the portal.
do you guys
Uh,
know what Phil Snow is planning on running for the bowl
he,
game?
I
Is it
do
a
know.
3-3-5 or a 4-2-5?
I would assume it's a 3-3-5.
I
I
have
would
a feeling
assume
we'll
too.
probably keep what we've been doing for most of the season. Maybe we'll throw
They,
in some variations and
they probably don't want to change it up for one game.
No, don't want to give a team down the like using that footage for come August next year.
Yeah, so I think that they might try to just execute with the current scheme that they have.
Hmm.
Um, but I think that it's a good thing that he'll be on staff for the bowl game, just because 15 extra practices is like a full spring camp.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
We got to do that with Dana last year too. I think that
exactly.
helped.
Well, and
It
then,
could be the reason we beat Boston College last year.
hmm well, and now if and this is trickling to the next hire that we made, and that was G. Nathan, what was his name?
Jeep Wade,
Jeep Wade, and he was the
offensive
Georgia
line.
Tech offensive line.
Mhm.
Which
So
I
I
feel like the
mean,
last couple of years, especially since they've had Haynes Keens and that new staff for the last 2 or 3 years. I don't know if he's been there the full 3 years with that head coach, but they've always had a good run game.
hmm
I've been seeing Georgia Tech fans on social media pretty upset about the move, so that's usually a good
That is a
indication.
good sign. Yeah, you can usually see if they're either happy or sad. You can see them oh, he sucked anyway, or they're all
Mhm.
sad that he left.
Yep.
well, and what Matt Rule had said this week was that Jeep is actually going to fit Dana Holgerson's scheme fit a lot easier. Considering I don't really understand what Raiola versus Jeep's scheme on the O line, like the differences between the two, but um,
I think a lot of it's the mentality and physical.
getting
From
the
what I've
players to
heard,
play.
yeah, like what I've heard about Jeep Wade is that he's got a very good philosophy, and it's very, it's physical, it's attack, it's something along those types of lines. I'm not 100%, but I do believe that he's going to be a much more physicality based or offensive line coach than Royla
Hmm.
was.
Well,
And to say that Royla was a bad coach necessarily, but he definitely was not getting it done and developing the players in the way that we need to see.
Yeah, and wasn't
Uh,
Donovan Royla the last coach from Scott Frost's staff that we kept?
yeah.
yep,
Yep, and then
yeah,
we've
he
replaced
was the
everyone
only
else.
person on staff.
Yeah.
So
Well, so
I would
with
that
regards
I
with
do.
with regards to our DC, our new DC, I did see that he brought San Diego State's defense from 95th in scoring defense to a top 10 scoring defense, so that was huge. Um, and then I also read that his 4-2-5 is mainly emphasized on four down linemen instead of three down linemen, like the 3-3-5 is, where like Butler
That's
would bring
what
down.
to be in a 4-2-5 versus the 3-3-5. Four down linemen.
Well, so Butler with his 3-3-5 would bring down a outside linebacker to be the fourth lineman instead of having a right end, left end, and two D tackles. So that was the
So
main
that's
difference.
a variation that he liked to run every once in a while. But the thing is that it never really worked because the linebackers never could create the pressure we needed on the line. I don't think.
Well,
I
I
for one
mean,
hope
you're
we run the
putting.
4-5 next year. I think it'll work better in the Big Ten.
I think
Yeah,
so too. Plus, I mean, instead of inserting like a 185-pound mid outside linebacker to be a
they are
lineman.
not 285 pounds, Michael. They're like 220 minimum.
I'm like
Well,
170.
well, still, besides the fact you're putting a 220-pound linebacker against a 300-pound offensive tackle or offensive
Yeah,
guard, that alone should tell you it's going to be significantly tougher to get outside pressure on the quarterback. So
unless you can
that
get that speed
4-2-5,
rush. Yeah,
Hmm.
on that 4-2-5, I think is just going to work a little bit better in the Big Ten because you're having a designated left end and right end instead of inserting a linebacker where an edge rusher would be instead. So, but I think it's just going to really depend on the guys he gets into our team and getting the fellas to play for him too. I don't think Butler had an issue with players getting to play for him. I think
I
the
don't think it's going
scheme
to
is
be.
where it struggled.
I think that the players want to play just because that's the culture rules built.
yeah.
Like we have seen a couple players enter the portal, like Jamarian Parker. I think there was one other, but I'm blanking on the name at the moment.
Dason's going to the draft. He declared
Yep.
for the draft
Didn't
along
rules
with
say that he's only expecting Emmett Johnson to sit
yeah.
out the bowl game, and all
And
the other starters will play?
Rocco is also sitting out.
Rocco's going to sit
Yeah,
out.
he declared for the draft though.
Hmm.
So
So the
I
two
think,
offensive starters.
I think Nebraska's got 3 players so far that have declared for the draft then. I know Deshaun Singleton got an invite to the Senior Bowl, so that is to be determined, but I'm assuming he'll enter the draft as well.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
I don't know
He's a
about
senior.
Sire Wright though. I know he was a junior, so
he had a really good relationship with Butler, so we'll see what he decides to do.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that if he goes along with the new DC and buys into the mentality, we'll be fine. But I honestly don't think that our players have a problem buying into mentality because that's how we beat Wisconsin 2 years ago and went to the first bowl in years.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do got to give Rule that two bowl games, 2 years, more than we've done in a while since we've had
In the last decade.
It's not what we want it to look like always, but it is progress.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we get to go up against a top 15 Utah team who is literally second in the nation in rush yards per game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we'll talk that a little bit more next week when we get into our CFP playoff predictions and the other bowl games out there.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, what do you guys think of the hires? Chase, we'll start with you.
yeah, I like both. And kind of like I said with the Georgia Tech O-line coach, I've really liked their O-line lately. And since that new regime has came in for Georgia Tech, they were kind of for a while, like as a kid, Georgia Tech, they were decent, and now they got in a couple of years where they're 5-7, 5-7, 5-7, and lately they've taken off, and it's been because of the run game and kind of their line of scrimmage on offense. So I'm really excited for this hire. I'm glad that he left Georgia Tech to come here to Nebraska, that we're the better opportunity, and he thinks that he could either build something here in Nebraska with Rule, or if he's just going to use us for a stepping stone to keep working his way up to maybe an offensive coordinator one day, I don't care, because that means that he had success with us. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to have him come in here. And then for the DC, I think it was needed, especially after those last 2 games against Iowa and Penn State. Going into then, I was kind of having speculation against him, but I was like, we played decent against USC, and it just kind of fell apart in the second half on defense. But I think it's a new guy coming in here. I think the 4-2-5 is going to work better in the Big Ten. And a couple of years ago, wasn't he up for like a national coordinator of the year too at San Diego State?
Last
Yeah.
year, he was nominated for the Broyles Award, the best assistant coach. So
I think it was in the top 10 in voting this year.
Yeah, I don't think you just happen to like fall into your lap with that. Like, he's done some good stuff at San Diego State. I'm excited with some better talent here at Nebraska, what he can do with our talent. He's going to have harder competition against Big Ten schools, but from what I've read about him, Rule needs to put his guys in there and his defensive knowledge and stuff, and hopefully these two can figure it out, because I think if we keep Royola, our offense with Dana will still be good enough next year. And if we can fix that run game, I think we could be better. We have a hard schedule next year, but With the
We
new
have a very
DC and rule, if they can figure out that defense, I think we can be all right next year.
well, and now we have a vacant D line spot too, or
Yep.
D line coach. So that's
We'll
to
see
be
who we
determined.
end up hiring
And
there.
like you guys
Also,
said, like he might want to bring in some of his own defensive staff personnel.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens.
yeah. Michael, what about you?
I mean, I practically said my 2 cents with regards to these two new coaches, but we'll just have to see what happens next season. Like Chase mentioned, we have a significantly tougher schedule, and we're going to be going up against tougher offenses as well. I mean, we've got Oregon, Washington, Illinois, and Ohio State,
And
um,
Indiana.
and Indiana. So those are at least three of the top five offenses in the Big Ten this year. So we're certainly going to have a work cut out for us, but I'm going to stay optimistic and just hope, we get the players to fit the scheme, and then we operate going full throttle, head into the wall type energy, and just hopefully that carries through and we stay relentless. But it's going to be interesting for
Yep.
sure. I definitely think the DC reorganization was needed. Just from, like Chase had mentioned, Iowa and Penn State, those last two games were just abysmal on the defensive side of the ball. And then it obviously didn't help. We couldn't generate anything offensively besides outside of Emmett Johnson. So I have
In the
seen,
first half, we had some offense against Iowa. Like we did have 16 points,
yeah,
which is more than a lot of teams do in Iowa in one half. But
yeah, but
we just
then
totally fell off.
the second half we didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So
They
it's
made adjustments and we were not able to.
no. Well, and then another thing I think Butler just kind of struggled with was making those adjustments at half, because our defense always seemed like we played close in the first half, and then Penn State, Iowa, we get blown out in the second half of the game. So just going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see who we bring in for the D line hire. I think Matt Rule said that our cornerback / our DB's coach is staying. I don't think he's planning on getting rid of him. Same with our linebackers.
But also sign a 4-year extension.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. Kind of intrigued that we haven't really made any other moves on the offensive side of the ball, but I think Sat's been good with the tight ends, and I think DeKeel Schwartz got our wide receivers to block a lot better too. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
I think
the
they're
youngest team, so
I like them. Just with what I've seen so far, we'll see how they translate into the Big Ten, because the ACC and the Mountain West, kind of like what you were saying, are not the Big Ten. So it might take a year or two, but we'll kind of see how it looks next week. But with that, let's go ahead and dive into our NFL Week 14 review. Michael, why don't you go ahead and start us out with this game this week?
Sure. So I was right on the Chargers, thankfully.
big one.
So that's huge.
Wet.
Yep, it was a really fun game to watch because I was unbiased and I was just, enjoying the game.
Watch the Monsters edition of it.
Yeah, Soli had 4
I did
interceptions.
not.
He
I did not watch it. I have seen some stuff about it and good reactions, so that's cool. Maybe I'll have to tune into that the next time that's around. But
Yeah, too bad just the last 2 times they've done it, it's been Charger games, and I can't watch. I'm not going to watch the Monsters. And it's like 5 minutes delayed so they can make the graphic too.
It's 10 minutes delayed.
10 minutes delayed even, yeah.
wait,
like-
really?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
'Cause I turned it on just for like a couple plays, and I'm like, I already watched these plays on the normal broadcast. So, but I was like, it makes sense because they got to make the graphic.
Mm-hmm. Well,
But
then,
yeah, I can watch the plays here and there, but I can never actually watch the full game in that.
No.
and then what was my? I'm having trouble remembering what my second pick was, but overall,
You might have hopped on the Bengals with me, if I'm being honest. The Bengals.
that
plus-
sounds right. That sounds right, and they pushed. That was another fun game to watch, and I'm surprised the Bills put up 39 points. And I mean, the Bengals don't have a great defense, I should say, and they've
Look
just.
at the quarterback on the Bills, Michael.
Mhm.
I
Don't
know.
be surprised.
That
I
game
mean,
was
I'm not.
a snowstorm too.
It was. It was
Yeah.
a blitz.
But I mean, overall, the Bills get to go through one of the toughest places to play in the NFL currently in Gillette Stadium. So, but we'll talk about that once we go into next week's games. But overall, 2-0, well 4-0 I guess overall. So I've had a good streak so far. I think I've in the season when we actually started keeping track. I think I only had like 2 or 3 weeks where I wasn't positive on my
I know
picks.
for
So.
sure you've done good the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like once we started keeping track of those picks, I think I've wound up positive, at least on the positive side of things. So that's always a good thing. But yeah, what about you, Chase? What about your picks, brother?
Yeah, I went 1-1. I had the same as Michael. Bengals plus 5.5. They cover by half a
Half a
point.
point. Hell yeah.
They were leading like that whole game. They're up 3 with 6 minutes left in the game or something like that. Joe Burrow throws a pick 6. Bills go up 4. The next play, when they get the ball back, Joe Burrow throws another interception. Unlike him, he was playing so well all game to even put them in a position to be up 31-28 on the Bills, and then those 2 interceptions ended it. Luckily, then, after throwing those 2, he went on a garbage time drive to get within the 5.5 in the cover. So, good job, Joe Burrow. Thanks for fighting for my cover. But in the other, I took Cowboys plus 3 against the Lions on Thursday Night Football.
That was a good game to watch, though.
It was. I think I bought into a little bit too much of the Cowboys hype. They come back 21-0 against the Eagles. The next week, they knock off the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. It's probably time to sell on them. They were riding too high. They run into a Lions team who, on their home field, turns games into track meets with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jamison Williams.
Ew.
Yeah, the Cowboys defense they had nothing. They couldn't stop Dan Campbell and the Lions, and I guess it should have known it was a Lions spot. We'll see how they do the rest of the year, because right now they're still would be the outside looking in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What about you,
I
Nathan?
Well, I went 1-1 as well, but I did not pick either of those games. I had the Jags over the Colts, and that was just 1.5, I believe. But a big reason for that is Daniel Jones tearing his Achilles.
Yeah.
Sucks. Injuries are just. He was having a hell of a year.
Mm-hmm.
I hate seeing
Well,
it.
now
I saw him slamming his helmet after he got hurt, and I just hate seeing
He
it.
was
He knows
pissed.
he had a chance to. Like, Daniel Jones hasn't had a lot of chances to make a run at a Super Bowl, and he had a decent team around him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
he was
now-
having. He's probably his best year statistically.
Well, now it opens the door because we all just got confirmation recording today, 12/9/25, that Phillip Rivers has now signed with the Colts practice squad with the chance of actually taking another snap in the NFL after retiring 5 years ago. So that's something to look out for, and you know what kind of a generational run it would be if Rivers came out of retirement to take the Colts to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it would be something.
It would be crazy.
Literal grandpa.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
But
what was your other pick, brother?
the other pick that I had was the Bears losing to the Packers. I had them plus 5.5, and they lost by 7, I believe.
Yep.
Bad beat. Ben Johnson just kind of they couldn't do it.
No.
Jordan Love still owns the Bears for whatever reason. I don't know whatever psych mind hold he has over them.
You just took over Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He took his number, and he took the curse he has over the Bills.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Bears, sorry.
Yeah.
But with that, let's go ahead and get into Week 15. Michael, why don't you go ahead and start with your picks?
So, obviously, we all know what one of my picks are going to be, and that's going to be the Patriots over the Bills. They play at 1 o'clock this coming Sunday, so that kind of sucks. It feels like it should be another Sunday night football game. But
Yeah.
besides the point, the Patriots get to play the Bills again. And this time it's at Gillette in Drake May's house.
You
Uh,
get Why are
right
you
now,
so excited to play them again?
right now we're underdogs. We're underdogs by 1.5 points. So I would hammer Patriots money line if anybody's listening. Just because, it's Drake fucking May and the New England fucking Patriots, guys. We are 10-2 on the season. We have already beat the Bills in their own house, which some might say that it's tougher to play in the Bill Stadium than it is in Gillette. I don't know why they would say that, but some might not. So being able to pull off that win in Buffalo is huge, but it's probably going to be the same exact weather that they played while they were in Buffalo, because I mean we're a month and a half ish since that game happened, and Gillette's not far from Buffalo, so I think they're only like 4 or 5 hours apart. But it's going to be a cold game. The weather in Gillette, I think they had a chance for snow, so we'll see if it actually snows or not. But yeah, I'd hammer Patriots money line. Don't even bother with the spread, because if we lose, it's going to be by 3, but if we win, it's going to be by 3. I don't think it's going to be a 1.5 point game. So hammer Patriots money line, and then
Hopefully, Bills
honestly, no. And then honestly, I'm gonna fucking say Bengals plus 2.5 against the Ravens. Just by seeing what happened when the Bengals have a healthy Joe Burrow, going up against an arguably better defense in what the Bills have. Ravens might be in a little bit of trouble. More or less on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like that.
Picked to lose to the Bills last week.
Huh?
Joe Burrow threw 2 picks to lose to the Bills last week, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, but that, Nathan, each week in the NFL is different.
He still played really well until he did lose the game, and then. But
well, and he's a good quarterback. He can learn from his mistakes. I mean, he probably just made the wrong read and wound up throwing those picks. But the Ravens' defense actually have kind of been sliding this season.
They have been pretty hurt too.
yeah,
They're
they
not-
lost to that Aaron Rodgers Steelers team, which when the Chargers played them, I did not think they looked that impressive.
Well,
But football is a
Patriots
matchup game.
lost-
Maybe we matched up well against the Steelers, but
Patriots lost to that Steelers team, and the Steelers forced 5 fumbles or 4 fumbles and a
if you
pick.
guys only had like 3 fumbles instead of 5, you probably would have won. But
Yeah, but I mean that was a long time ago. So besides the point, I would take Bengals plus 2.5 against the Ravens. I feel like that game's going to be a track meet. So I didn't see what that over under was. It is 52.5. So
that's hot.
I could kind of see a replication of the Bills Bengals from last week, just in the track meet, because both defenses are not that great, and they've both got stellar offenses that can put up 40 points if they want to. So those will be my picks for the week. What about you, Chase? What are you feeling?
Yeah, for one of my picks, make sure I get the spread right here. I think it's Packers minus 2.5 is maybe what it is right now, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to take the Packers over the Broncos. Every time I kind of watch the Broncos, I feel like they don't look that impressive against some of these bad teams. They just beat the Raiders by 7.
It feels like they
winning overtime against the Commanders with Marcus Mariota.
It feels like they play to the level of their opponent, honestly.
That's true. I mean, it's Green Bay going to Denver, too. So that's tough. But the last couple of weeks, I feel like the Packers have kind of figured something out. They beat the Bears 28-21. The week before that, they beat the Lions in Detroit on Thanksgiving. I think Bo Nix, I kind of trust Jordan Love just a little bit more than Bo Nix. I think both defenses are really good, so I'm going to go with Packers. I think it's going to be close, but I think they're going to win by a touchdown.
I like.
And then my other one, this pick only counts if Phillip Rivers is playing. If Phillip Rivers is playing, Give me the Colts plus 13.5 against the Seattle Seahawks. I will
Oh
ride
yeah.
with Phillip Rivers in his first game in 5 years against a really good defense. I'm honestly going to be scared for him if they trot him out there this weekend. He's 44
Yeah.
and he was not mobile when he was in the NFL. So I don't even know what he would look like now. Luckily, the Colts have a really good offensive line and run game. I don't think the mental part of the game has passed Phillip Rivers. I think he'll be perfect on the whiteboard. This is
Mhm.
if you guys didn't know, Shane Steichen was longtime coach of the Chargers, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator for us before he ended up with the Eagles and then eventually the Colts. So he was the
Well,
quarterback coach for Phillip Rivers for a long time. So him
well,
and
and
Shane Steichen,
apparently,
This.
did you
apparently
guys see
Rivers was
that?
running Shane Steichen's
Yeah,
offense for Rivers' high school kids team.
yeah.
So
I was just about to say that.
so he doesn't have to learn an offense. He's just gotta they gotta see if he can physically play. So Philip Rivers, if he's playing, they're covering the 13.5. My backup pick is if Riley Leonard playing, I want nothing to do with the Colts spread, so just give me Chargers plus 4.5 against the Chiefs. Then if Philip Rivers doesn't play,
We'll take it.
That would be
I
a huge. I mean,
like
both games would be huge.
yeah,
I
Imagine
like
if, imagine if Philip walks in there starting and he winds up beating the Seahawks, who is most likely a playoff team.
yep. And then
I
he
would
has
love
to play the Niners the weekend after that. He's playing like two of the best defenses in the NFL back to back.
Well,
we are
Niners,
hurt.
Niners are still a good defense,
You
but I
guys
was
are
just
hurt, but
confused. They're pretty
statistically, you
hurt.
guys are up there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just imagine if we were healthy.
I would
know.
say the Niners defense is in the top half of the league at least, and
We're like top 15
yeah,
or top 10.
yeah, I was gonna say, but yeah.
Might be top 10. But I like those picks. The Philip Rivers one is a nice.
And that's a
It
big
holds
number
its-
too. So
Too many points.
Do you think the spread will move if Rivers is declared the starter? Do you think it'd go down?
maybe I don't know if people would think there's a big difference between Philip Rivers, who hasn't played in 5 years, and Riley Leonard. But maybe people would kind of think by me, like, and a lot of people would just bet on the Colts because they have Rivers, and it's kind of the more fun side to bet on.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I mean we've got a good NFL slate ahead of us for sure.
Yeah, and
But-
like you were saying, Michael, I feel like there's a lot of games better than Vikings Cowboys Sunday Night Football. Like, give
And the
me,
game that I like,
give me
I've
Chiefs.
got to. I think that the Rams and the Lions, that should be Sunday Night Football too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
Rams, Lions, Chargers, Chiefs, Patriots, Bills,
Bengals, Ravens, even
Broncos,
Niners.
Packers, just almost any other.
Niners,
any other game,
Yeah.
any other game besides
Niners,
the Vikings,
Titans.
Cowboys.
Niners, Titans. Come on now.
Yeah, there's a lot of good games this weekend, and for some reason they put an average game in Sunday Night Football.
Well, and
Didn't flex.
I guess they have J.J. McCarthy, so I mean,
No, they don't. They have 9.
whatever you want to say. 9,
Nine versus
J.J.
Dak.
McCarthy, J-Mac, whatever it runs. But yeah,
The couple of picks that I have, so Lions plus 5.5 at the Rams. I like them a lot. Jahmyr Gibbs has just looked so damn good the last couple of weeks. He looks like a machine. Like, good God, I don't know who could stop him.
I need Jameson Williams to score some motherfucking points this weekend so I can beat Joel.
But then the other pick that I have is actually the Bills money line at the Patriots.
You guys are going against each other.
You just saw Josh Allen trail all game long and be able to come back and win it late in a snowy blizzard environment. He is playing some of the best football that I've seen.
That's what Drake
So
May's going to do to the Bills, Nathan.
I think it's going to be kind of funny when we come in next week and this game obviously has been decided, and we'll kind of see how somebody reacts.
If I
when-
can just rub it in your face and tell you don't ever bet against Drake
You
May
guys-
and
if
Mike
you lose
Vrabel
to the
ever
Bills,
again.
how far do you drop in the playoff race?
Huh?
If you lose to the Bills, how far do you drop in the playoff race?
Maybe one spot. That put
That's-
us at 10-3, Nathan.
Yeah,
that would
I think
actually probably put us as the second
technically,
best record in the
yeah, you guys
AFC, or
are
tied for the first.
you're
So your
tied
game,
with the Broncos, but technically they have the tiebreaker every year because they have a better record in AFC games.
Oh, and I think the Broncos beat the Raiders too,
yeah, they did.
so that doesn't
But
help.
if you guys lose to the Bills, you guys are only
I think
separated by one game and you split, so I don't even know who would necessarily have the tiebreaker.
there'd be a there
Well,
where
let's
it gets
see.
dicey. So if you're
It would
not
depend
hosting,
on the Bills and how they've done against the Jets and the Dolphins.
You guys aren't losing.
So
Neither one of you guys have lost to the Jets or Dolphins.
yeah, so then because that would be the tiebreaker, I would imagine would
Yeah,
be
it goes
what your
division
record was.
record, and then I think it's common opponents.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which I would have to look at the Bills schedule versus the Patriots and do that, but it'd be interesting for sure. But
Yeah, I wonder what'll happen, but we'll see it decided around 3 p.m. Sunday after. You'll be getting a text for sure when that game wraps up. Don't you worry.
oh, I'll take
Um,
photos for you guys.
I like it.
Sure.
That's what I want to see. I
Maybe
keep
put
that.
the house on Patriots money line.
I wouldn't do that.
Put the mortgage on
But
it.
with that, was there anything else you guys wanted to say quickly or discuss quick before we hop off?
All I can
Nebraska
say is
volleyball this week, Friday night against Kansas. We won in the first two rounds. We got Kansas Sweet 16 Friday night. So good luck to women's volleyball. And then
Nebraska basketball.
Yep, coming off the big win against Creighton, and they're ranked. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
number 23.
We're
yeah,
ranked
Well,
entering
for-
conference play for the first time since 2018.
yeah, crazy. We haven't even lost, which is great.
Yeah.
Well, we play Wisconsin.
Men's basketball, women's basketball, and women's volleyball are all undefeated.
Mhm.
But the difference is volleyball is in their postseason tournament now,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
Well, we didn't- we didn't-
regular season.
Nebraska volleyball never lost a game this year, and then went on, I think, like a 45 to 52 set winning streak, and then UCLA and Penn State beat us in one set each, and then I think those were the only two sets we really lost since the beginning of the
they
season.
have been very dominant.
Early in the
this
season, I think Kentucky, they're ranked number 2 behind us, but they were up 2-0 on us in sets, and then we reverse swept them. So if we meet them again, we do know they're a team that can compete with us and send us to 5 sets.
Is is DBK's old Louisville team in the tournament too?
Yeah, I
I
think
would-
they're actually. I
Aren't
don't
they
know
on
who
our?
they play, but if both Nebraska and Louisville win Friday, then we would play Saturday.
Ooh,
That'd be a fun game to watch, honestly.
go big.
Is the NCAA tournament only on ESPN Plus, or is that just like the
I think
Sweet
we played
16
Friday
games?
on ESPN2.
Yeah.
Okay,
I do think I think the national championship and semifinals will be on ESPN for sure.
cool. And then Nebraska plays Wisconsin for our first conference game Friday, right?
Is it Friday?
Is it Friday?
I think it's this weekend.
And then we're going to a game that first weekend of January.
Yeah, that's still pretty far out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how I mean, right now Nebraska basketball is underdogs by 1.5 point to Wisconsin. So
Not bad. They're always good. I mean, if you think of 23rd rank, that'd get you a 4 or 5 seed when you're thinking about the Big Ten. Or not the Big Ten tournament, but the NCAA tourney. We've never been that high. When we get in the tourney, we sneak in as like an 11 seed, and we're just hoping that we can finally get our first tournament win.
well, last year we were an 11 seed, right? Because we had to play A&M first.
We won the NIT last year, which is why we have this the longest win streak in like the NCAA right now because
That's right.
Florida's lost who won the actual tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
Or it might not have been the NIT. It might have been the Crown. I don't even know.
It was the
Crown
Crown.
Classic.
It was Crown in Vegas.
Yep.
That's right.
But-
and then the year before that, we went to the tournament and lost to A&M.
Lost
Yeah.
to A&M.
God, that feels like just last year. That's crazy.
Nope. But with that, well, thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Um, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and we'll try to review it and get that in the next episode. As always, this has been Nathan and
Chase.
And Michael. And don't forget to follow, like, comment, and subscribe. Go Big Red.
GBR.
thanks, bro. Go Big Red.